We're back and we got to talk some Bama recruiting. The last time we fired up the cameras on this channel, Xavier Crowell was the latest five-star commitment for Alabama. But here we are, another day, another taping, and another five-star for Alabama. Tim Watts here from Bama Online. Xavier Griffin, the number 2 ranked linebacker in the country, decommitted from USC. USC had him locked in for a couple months. He reopened that recruitment. Bunch of teams jumped in. Texas, Ohio State, among others. How is Bama in the end able to win out on another five-star?
I think it starts with relationships. You have a lot of people saying they don't matter. I totally disagree. I think they do matter. I don't think it's just about dropping the bag and the NIL and everything. But Christian Robinson, once he committed, never panicked. He stayed involved with him, kept building that relationships. Plus, the family has a lot of connections to the state of Alabama to begin with. He was born here. His mother played basketball here. He has a grandparent that lives here. So there's a lot of familiarity, not just with the coaching staff, and they all chipped in and did a great job. Courtney Morgan, Kane Womack, Chuck Morrell, obviously Kalen DeBoer, they all did a great job. But also he had a relationship with the state and the University of Alabama.
So when you say relationships won out, I mean, everybody knows when you're talking about the number 2 rated linebacker in America, a 5-star recruit, everybody knows NIL's involved here. But are you saying that he could have probably taken more money to go elsewhere?
Yeah, I think that's for sure. I don't think Alabama was the highest here with him. We saw it earlier in the week with Xavier Crowell, same situation, had other guys, schools out of state pushing harder. You got to kind of do that to try to get them away from that homeschool sometime. Yeah. But I think the relationships, the comfortability factor, all the NIL stuff eventually works itself out. I think we're seeing less and less of pure NIL deals. But I do think you send your kid off to college, you want to know that coaching staff, you want to be comfortable where they're at. And that goes for anybody across the country. And I think Alabama does that as well as anybody.
Back-to-back summers now that Kalen DeBoer and his staff are just nailing the 5-star recruits. And heading into the summer, there's a little bit of concern amongst Bama fans. Has that kind of gone away now that you got Xavier Crowell and Xavier Crowell and Xavier Griffin on board?
For the time being, but it's not just with Kalen DeBoer. This happened with Nick Saban when that slow build would come up, right. And Nick Saban was huge on having those June camps and getting those offers. It's changed obviously now, but yeah, when you head into June, 4 or 5 commitments. I think there was 5 last year, 4 this year. You get a little bit nervous, but the staff wants to vet, get to know these kids, meet the parents. There's guys they'll step out of the recruitment of because it gets goes in a different direction or maybe not a great culture fit. So I think that push every summer is kind of what you're going to get. And also the schedule's so different now. You're dead until September. Kids have seen basically everything they need to see and can make a decision now.
Yeah, and we're only to about the midpoint of summer. It feels like summer's been 6 months with that whole June official visit slate, but here we are on the verge of entering July, and Alabama is now trending for another top prospect, defensive lineman Nolan Wilson, the number 4 ranked defensive lineman in America. Got a new prediction over the weekend from our great friend Steve Wiltfong. So, Tim, do you see another big week ahead for Alabama?
Yeah, they could land possible commitments on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So 5 of the next 6 days. It's been busy. It's going to be a run here. I don't know what's going to happen after that, but they've set everything up nicely. You got Cedarian Morgan going on July 2nd. You've got, like you said, Nolan Wilson on July 4th. And then Jaira Edwards, the 5-star safety, going on Saturday, the 5th. So those are guys we feel Bama's did a good job with. We're on the same page with Nolan Wilson. We think Freddie Roaches did a great job with him. He's known him for a long time. First offer. And again, going back to relationships, Nolan's mentioned that many, many times that Bama was the first school to offer him. He had no other offers. They took a chance on him. So, yeah, I think that can pay off for Alabama.
Damn, that's a lot of 5-stars coming on board. Now, one we didn't even mention, Anthony Tank Jones. Are you leaning Alabama here? I know he had a great trip out to Oregon. He's been a few places where he's enjoyed, Texas A&M as well.
I don't have a lean there. I think Alabama's did everything they should do and could do. No decision date yet. I think Alabama is in a good position if he stays in the state. I think everybody's going to be after this guy. I think he's still sorting through it all. And Anthony's been pretty quiet. I mean, he's been Not a guy that talks a lot. He took his visits. He did everything he said he was going to do.
Yeah.
But again, going back to relationships, that's Christian Robinson recruiting him at that Wolf linebacker position, and he definitely has a good standing with that family.
All right. So what would you say is the biggest need still left to fill for Alabama?
I think you're looking just, piece by piece. They want to have a strong defensive line. They want to add an offensive lineman. They want to get an impact safety. We haven't even talked about Max Sutter, which was one of their priorities this year, getting an impact, tight end. He just so happened to commit right after Xavier Crowell, who's an impact running back, guys that could come in and play right away as a freshman or compete right away as a freshman.
All right, Bama fans, exciting times. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the On3 Recruit channel. Not only do we talk Alabama, but sometimes we have recruits committing to Alabama right here on the channel. So jump on board and hit subscribe.